We moved to a simple rental home just outside Salem, Massachusetts, in a neighborhood called Hawthorne Ridge because of my job. New position, better salary. It meant moving closer to the North Shore. We did not want to pull the kids out of school too far into the year, so Hawthorne Ridge seemed like a good compromise. I know something now that I did not know then. It did not want us dead. It wanted to consume us. It wanted to make our lives hell. It did not want us to leave. It was me, my wife Jenna, and our 2 kids, Noah, 8, and Lily, 5. We drove up in a U-Haul on a clear Saturday afternoon. The GPS said we had arrived. The house sat in the middle of the cul-de-sac. Gray siding, white trim, a short driveway, small front steps. Kids' bikes lay in front yards. Flags hung on porches. A dog barked from a neighbor's fenced yard. Everything looked simple and normal. The landlord, a man named Mr. Keene, stepped out from his car as we parked. He was in his late 50s, tucked-in polo shirt, clipboard in hand. "Great family home," he said. "Great area, great neighbors." He used the word great many times. He did not say old. He did not say updated. He did not say no issues. We walked inside. The entry opened to a small landing, stairs up to the living room and kitchen, stairs down to the basement, a hallway to the bedrooms on the upper level. The living room was simple, beige walls, a front window facing the cul-de-sac. The kitchen had older cabinets but clean counters. The hallway led to 3 bedrooms and a small bathroom. The basement had a finished family room. Off that room was a closed door. "The storage room," Keene said. "Good for boxes, holiday stuff." He put his hand on the knob but did not turn it. He just mentioned it and stepped away. When I opened it later, I noticed the difference immediately. The air in that room was colder. It smelled faintly of damp concrete and cardboard, even though it was empty. Jenna rested her hand on my arm. "It is just a room," she said. I told myself she was right. The first few days were busy. We moved boxes. We assembled beds. The kids ran through the rooms. Jenna kept saying it would feel like home soon. We had pizza boxes on the counter, TV on in the background. Typical move-in chaos. There were small things at first. A light switch that took a second too long to respond. A faint clicking sound from the hallway at night. The feeling that the house was too quiet when everything was turned off. I ignored all of it. The first clear sign came on the 4th night. It was a rainy evening. We were all on the couch in the living room watching a family movie. The lamps were on. The kitchen light was on. The kids were cuddled under a blanket. Without any warning, every single light in our house went off. Everything. No slow dimming, no flicker, just instant darkness. Lily squeaked and grabbed Jenna's arm. Noah said, "Whoa, did the power go out?" I told them it was probably just an outage. I stood up, took out my phone, and turned on the flashlight. I walked to the front window and pulled the curtain back. Every house on the street was fully lit. Porch lights, living room lights, bedroom windows glowing. Only our house was dark. The difference was very clear. Our windows were black shapes between lit homes. I told Jenna I would check the breaker panel. I went downstairs to the basement. The panel was on the wall near the washer and dryer. I opened it and checked the breakers. All of them were still in the on position. No tripped switches. I flipped the main off and back on. Nothing changed. The house stayed dark. I checked the time on my phone. It was 9:06 p.m. We sat in the dark for 7 minutes. No refrigerator hum, no HVAC fan. Just the sound of rain and our breathing. At exactly 9:13 p.m., the lights came back on. No flicker, no ramp up. Everything came back at once. TV booted, fridge started, lamps lit. Jenna forced a small smile. Maybe there is some timed reset thing. Old house, some glitch. I nodded, but my mind stayed on the exact minute. 9:13. It was not a random delay. It was fixed. It was deliberate. I did not know what that meant yet, but I knew it did not feel normal. Over the next few days, there were more small things. At night, when the house was quiet, I would hear a faint tap from the hallway. One knock. Not a series, just a single, deliberate sound from somewhere near the kids' rooms. Sometimes, I heard what sounded like a soft step near the basement landing when no one was down there. The bathroom light over the mirror would occasionally turn on by itself. Just a faint click, and then light. I thought I left it on a few times, but after the third or fourth time, I started paying attention. I knew I had turned it off. The kids did not say much at first. They were excited about the new rooms and the bigger living space. One night after the kids went to bed, Jenna fell asleep early. I stayed up in the kitchen, rinsing dishes and cleaning up. The TV was off. Only the overhead kitchen light and the small hallway nightlight were on. My phone played a podcast quietly on the counter. From where I stood at the sink, I could see a section of the hallway that led to the bedrooms. It was just the edge, but enough to see movement if anyone walked by. I saw a figure walk past, a full-height person, dark shape, moving from Lily's room side of the hallway toward Noah's side. I turned and looked directly. The hallway was empty. Both bedroom doors were slightly open, just the way we left them. I called, "Noah?" No answer. I went to Noah's room. He was fast asleep, covers halfway off. I gently pulled them over him. I watched his breathing, deep and steady. Lily was asleep in her room too. Her stuffed animals were under her arm. Her hair lay across her pillow. No one had just walked in that hall. I returned to the kitchen. I stared at the microwave door, checking for some reflection trick. The TV was off. There was nothing that could cast a moving shadow like that. This was the first time I felt real unease in my own hallway. We had a standing water dispenser in the kitchen, one of those with a blue jug on top. It made a distinct sound every time someone filled a cup. Click of the lever, then the glug 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 of water, then a soft sound as air moved through the jug. About 2 weeks after we moved in, I woke up around 2 a.m. My throat was dry. I was about to get up to get some water when I heard it. Click, glug glug glug. Someone was using the dispenser in the kitchen. I assumed it was Noah. He sometimes woke up thirsty, and he was old enough to get water by himself. I slid out of bed carefully so I would not wake Jenna. I walked down the hallway. The kitchen was dark, except for the faint light from the street coming through the window. The sound came again. Click, glug glug glug. I stepped into the kitchen. There was no one there. Noah was not near the dispenser. Lily was not in a chair. The lever was not moving. But drops of water fell from the nozzle. I watched the surface of the water in the jug. It moved. The level lowered, as if someone had just taken a cup. I crouched and checked the floor. It was dry. No leak. I touched the dispenser. The plastic surface felt colder than the room. My skin prickled. I went to the kids' rooms and checked them. They were both in bed, deep asleep. I went back to bed and stared at the ceiling for a long time. The house was not just malfunctioning at random times. It was active at specific moments, and it seemed to prefer the night. After that, the behavior escalated slowly. The dishwasher stopped mid-cycle and beeped like someone opened the door, even though the door was shut tight. The microwave clock kept resetting to 1:13 after brief power blinks. The coffee maker would fail in the morning and then work normally in the afternoon with no changes. We called an electrician. He checked the breaker panel, the grounding, the outlets, and the kitchen lines. "Everything is within normal limits," he said. "Maybe small surges. Could be the local grid, hard to pin down." I asked if it was normal for only one house on a cul-de-sac to lose power while everyone else stayed on. He shrugged. "If your feed line is separate, it can happen. Call the utility if it continues." We did not get a clear answer. The electrician left, and the house stayed quiet that afternoon. But the pattern did not stop. The power would go off only in our house. Then it would come back at exact times, 7:13 p.m., 9:13 p.m., 11:13 p.m. Jenna said once, "Maybe the house likes the number 13. I did not laugh. I knew we were not dealing with random faults. I felt something tracking time and tracking us. Because we had moved, we bought a new set of white dishes, plates, bowls, mugs. They were cheap but brand new. One morning I poured coffee into a mug and noticed the inside looked stained. Brownish marks, like someone had left coffee in it for hours and let it dry. I thought maybe we missed scrubbing that one. I washed it thoroughly until it looked new again. A few days later, Jenna held up a dinner plate. "Did we buy used stuff?" she asked. The plate had fine scratches and faint gray lines all across it. The surface looked like it had been scraped and stacked for years. Small chips were at the rim. These dishes were only a couple of weeks old. We started paying attention. We would put a clean, nearly new bowl into the cabinet. A few days later, we would take it out, and it would look worn. Not all the dishes changed, just some, just enough to stand out. We considered the dishwasher as a cause. We tried gentler cycles. Then we hand-washed some pieces and dried them carefully. They still changed. Bit by bit, it looked like something was using them hard, somewhere we could not see. It touched the things we used daily. It degraded them at an unnatural speed. It was not only targeting the house, it was targeting our objects. It was consuming the sense that anything here was new, or safe, or fresh. This was our normal now, and it was only the beginning. By the time the dishes started looking older than they were, I already felt uneasy most evenings. I noticed that whenever the house fell completely quiet, I would hold my breath without realizing it. I thought we were just adjusting to a new place. I was wrong. One Sunday late afternoon, Jenna took Noah to a birthday party. I stayed home with Lily. She was in her room playing with dolls and talking to herself in that clear, loud way kids do when they are acting out scenes. I was on the living room couch, scrolling on my phone. The TV was off. The light outside was fading. The hallway behind me was lit only by a small nightlight plugged into an outlet near the bathroom. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw movement in the hallway. A small figure ran across from the direction of the basement stairs toward the area near the storage room door downstairs. I saw a pale dress, a small body, and bare feet. The head looked bent forward at an odd angle, chin low, like the neck was too flexible. I turned my head fully, fast. No one was there. I stood up and walked to Lily's room. She was on the floor, sitting cross-legged, dolls around her, coloring on a piece of paper. She looked up at me. "Yeah, Daddy?" she said. "You did not just run down the hall?" I asked. She frowned and shook her head. I looked at her drawing. It was a simple kid drawing of our hallway. Door rectangles, a square shape at the end that matched where the storage room door was. In the middle, there was a stick figure family, 4 of us. Next to our family, she had drawn another figure, taller, completely filled in with dark crayon. The face was a circle with 2 large, dark eyes and a very wide, unnatural smile. "Who is this?" I asked, pointing to the tall, dark figure. "That is the girl who runs," Lily said. "She lives by the wall. She does not like the light." Her voice was very matter-of-fact, not playful. Something in my chest tightened. This was not a one-time image. This was a repeated presence. That night, after the kids were asleep, I went down to the basement. The storage room door was closed. The family room down there felt normal enough with the main light on, but the area by that door always felt heavier, like the air had more weight. I put my hand on the doorknob. It was cold, almost as if it had been in a refrigerator. I opened the door and stepped inside. The room was small and plain. Concrete floor, unfinished wall on one side with exposed studs. The other wall, the one backing the hillside, was solid concrete, painted off-white. A single bare bulb hung from the ceiling with a pull string. I pulled it. The light came on with a slight hum. Nothing moved, no sound, but I felt it. A strong awareness. Not my awareness, something else. I walked to the far wall. I knocked with my knuckles. It sounded solid, no hollow echo, no sign of extra space behind it. I told myself it was just a normal storage room, but every part of me felt tense. I turned the light off and closed the door. Later, when I told Jenna I had checked it out, she said, "It is fine. Just a basement room. You are thinking too much." I wanted to agree, but the heaviness in that space was not imagination. A few days later, we were outside in the front yard when our next-door neighbor, Mrs. Lang, came over with a plate of cookies. She was older, friendly, and clearly liked to talk. She asked about our move, our kids, and schools. Then she asked a specific question. "How are you settling into the old 𝐻𝐾 house?" I told her our landlord's name was 𝐻𝐾. She smiled. "Oh, I meant the family who lived there before. The 𝐻𝐾s. Nice couple. 2 girls." I felt a small chill. I asked why they left. Mrs. Lang's expression changed slightly. She looked at the house, then back at me. "They left very suddenly. It was the middle of winter. A moving truck showed up early. By late afternoon, they were gone. No goodbye." "Job move?" I asked. She hesitated. "The husband said something like that. But their little girl told my grandson. She said the house did not want them to go. She said the house got angry when they packed their things." She realized, as she said that, how it sounded and quickly tried to lighten the mood. "Old houses are noisy," she added. "They make people imagine things." She smiled again, but the earlier sentence stayed in my mind. The house did not want them to go. We had not mentioned to anyone that our power cut when we tried to settle in, or that strange events were building. We were not the first. Over the next weeks, the events connected more directly to our habits. If Jenna cooked on the stove, the burners would fail to ignite, or start clicking in a rapid series, then all ignite at once in a sharp burst. If I tried to work on my laptop in the living room late at night, the overhead light would turn off, then on, then off again. Not random, a slow pattern. 2 seconds on, 2 seconds off, over and over until I stopped working. The power outages continued with precision. Only our house, only at certain times, always returning at the minute mark, with 13 in the time. 7:13, 9:13, 11:13. Each time it happened, the same process repeated. Darkness, silence, then full restoration. It was not trying to kill the power permanently. It was interrupting us. It was breaking our sense of steady time. It was consuming our normal routine. It was making the house feel like a trap. Noah started waking up from nightmares. He said he heard footsteps in the hallway at night. Not quick steps, slow, careful steps. Heel, then toe. Pause. Heel, then toe. He said the steps would pause outside his door for a few seconds, then move on. Lily began insisting on sleeping with her head under the blanket. When Jenna asked why, she said, "Because she keeps peeking from the door. She wants to see if I am awake." We asked who she meant. "The girl from the wall," she said. Her answers were always the same, consistent, simple, not playful. One weekday morning, I woke up earlier than everyone else to get ready for work. I walked to the kitchen to grab my packed lunch and some milk. I opened the refrigerator door. Half the food looked spoiled. Grapes that had been full and firm now looked brown and shriveled. A half-gallon of milk was puffed out, swollen, with the plastic sides rounded. The sliced turkey meat had a gray tint. I checked the dates. Everything still had days or weeks left. I checked the fridge thermometer we had put inside. The temperature was within the normal range. I opened the freezer. The ice was solid. Frozen food items were fine. Only the food we used regularly was affected. This did not feel like a simple appliance failure. The pattern matched everything else. It was as if the house was targeting the things we relied on every day, draining freshness, draining comfort, draining safety. That same week, 2 new mugs shattered in the dishwasher during a normal cycle. Not chipped, completely fractured into many pieces. The repair tech had no real explanation. Jenna sat down at the kitchen table that night and rubbed her forehead. "I do not like living here anymore," she said. "It does not feel safe." I agreed, finally out loud. We decided we would move out as soon as possible, even if it meant paying a penalty on the lease. The house seemed to understand that decision. After that, everything intensified. A few days later, we brought some flat moving boxes up from the basement storage area. We decided to start with extra items, pictures, and things we did not use daily. We stood in the hallway and began folding a box. Tape. Crease. The usual. 5 minutes into that, the power went out. Instant darkness. Silence. Only our house again. I went to the window. All the neighboring homes were bright, normal, undisturbed. We sat on the floor with the half-folded box between us. Noah came out of his room, confused. Lily clung to Jenna. We waited. At 8:13 p.m., the lights came back on. Everything returned to normal, as if someone flipped a master switch. It was the same logic as before. Control, timing, interruption. We stopped packing for that night. We tried again a few days later, this time during full daylight. Jenna removed framed photos of our family from the walls and arranged them carefully on the floor. She placed them one by one into a box, wrapped in towels and spare cloths. Noah carried smaller frames and handed them to her. We closed the box and pushed it near the front closet. We planned to move it to the car the next morning. That night, the house was quiet. No flickers, no outages, no footsteps. In the morning, Jenna walked into the hallway and froze. Every photo was back on the walls. Every frame hung in its original place. The moving box was flattened, empty, and leaned neatly against the wall near the basement stairs. Noah said he did not touch them. Lily shook her head when we asked. I never moved them. Jenna never moved them. The house had undone our packing. It was not just resisting now. It was reversing our actions. It did not want us to prepare to leave. It wanted to keep us inside its routine. It wanted to keep us in place. We called a realtor to help us with the lease and to see if there was any way to exit earlier. She came on a bright Saturday afternoon. The house looked harmless in daylight. She walked through with her phone, taking pictures of each room. Upstairs, everything worked. Her phone camera snapped photos normally. When she went downstairs to the basement, she stood facing the storage room area and held up her phone. The camera app just froze, she said. She frowned and tapped the screen. She closed it and opened it again. She tried again. It crashed. The phone restarted once. She laughed it off. Maybe the cell reception down here is bad, she said. Sometimes electronics act weird in basements. But she moved on without getting a clear photo facing the storage door. Upstairs again, the phone worked with no problem. This was not a network issue. The phone did not need a signal to take a picture. The pattern repeated. Anything that focused on that storage room or anything that pushed toward us moving away faced resistance. The realtor eventually left and told us she would try to negotiate with the landlord. As soon as she left, Jenna said, "This house is not okay with us leaving. I can feel it." She was right. One evening, I came home later than usual. Jenna had already put the kids to bed. The house was quiet. Only a few lamps were on. I went down to the basement to drop my bag on the couch. As I reached the bottom stair and turned toward the family room, I saw her. A small girl stood near the storage room door. She was about Lily's height. She had long, dark hair hanging over part of her face. She wore a pale dress that reached her ankles. Her skin looked almost gray in the dim light. Her head was tilted too far to one side, as if the neck joint was loose. She was facing the door at first. Then her head turned toward me in one slow movement, but her body did not move. "Lily?" I said quietly. "What are you doing down here?" Even as I spoke, I knew this was not my daughter. The proportions were slightly wrong. The hair was too dark. The posture was wrong. The girl jerked suddenly, like something pulled her from behind. Then she ran. She did not run toward the stairs. She ran straight at the corner where the solid wall met the door frame and vanished. I heard 2 quick steps of bare feet on the floor, then nothing. I walked to the wall with slow steps. I put my hand on the corner where she disappeared. Cold concrete, smooth paint, no gap, no opening. I opened the storage room door. The light was off. I pulled the string. No one was inside, only boxes and the same concrete wall on the far side. I felt a pressure inside my chest and a burning in my throat, like my body wanted to reject the scene I had just witnessed. I turned the light off and closed the door. That night, Lily woke up screaming. We rushed into her room. She sat upright, hands over her ears, tears on her face. Jenna held her and asked, "What is wrong?" Lily said, "You went into her room. She is angry. She said you cannot knock on her wall. She said we are not allowed to leave. She wants us here." She did not know I had gone into the storage room that evening and touched the wall. Her words were exact. There was no way she guessed that. The house was not subtle now. The girl was not a random image. It was connected to whatever ruled that storage wall, and whatever ruled the house. After the night Lily woke up screaming about the girl in the wall, Jenna and I stopped talking about moving sometime soon. We agreed we needed to leave as quickly as possible. We were ready to accept the lease penalty. We just wanted out. The realtor told us she was close to getting an agreement with the landlord to end the lease with 1 extra month's rent as penalty. In the meantime, we started packing more during the day. We avoided doing it at night. Daytime seemed safer. The house felt less intense when the sun was out and people were walking dogs and cars passed outside. But that did not last. It was a Wednesday night. The kids were in bed. We had packed many boxes. Several were stacked near the front door, ready for the weekend. We planned to move to a hotel first, then to an apartment once we found one. Jenna and I stood in the kitchen, going over what we still needed to sort. While we were speaking, the air in the house changed. The temperature did not drop drastically, but the air became heavy. My ears felt slight pressure, the way they feel in an airplane before adjustment. Everything felt too quiet, too still. Then the lights went off. Not just some, every light at once. The overheads, the lamps, the digital clock displays, even the small LED on the modem. The refrigerator hum stopped abruptly. The HVAC fan went silent. The house did not just lose power. It shut down completely. I grabbed a flashlight from the counter and turned it on. Jenna's face looked pale in the beam. She whispered, "Is it just us again?" I walked to the front window and pulled the curtain. Every other house around us was fully lit. Porch lights, windows, TVs visible through curtains. Hawthorne Ridge looked normal and alive. Our home was a dark rectangle in the middle of it. I knew at that moment that we could not sleep here again. We needed to get our kids and go. I said, "We are leaving now. Get the kids. We can take a few bags and go. We will come back in the daytime if we have to get more." Jenna nodded immediately. We went to the bedroom hallway. We each took a flashlight. We woke Noah first. He sat up quickly. He had experienced these blackouts before, so he was not confused this time, just scared. We woke Lily. She was groggy, then started crying when she saw the flashlight beams. "We are going to a hotel," I told them. "We just need shoes and jackets." We walked to the front door, all 4 of us. Jenna held Lily's hand. Noah held mine. I unlocked the deadbolt. I put my hand on the knob and turned. It moved halfway. Then it stopped. There was a firm resistance, like someone on the other side had placed their hand on the knob and matched my force exactly, keeping it in place. It was not a mechanical jam. It was controlled, steady pressure. I tightened my grip and turned harder. The knob refused to complete the rotation. I pushed my weight against the door. Nothing. I did not want to say what I was thinking in front of the kids. Jenna's voice shook as she said, "Try the back door." We walked through the dark living room and into the kitchen. Our flashlights made small cones of light. As we passed the water dispenser, I heard it. Click, glug glug glug, click, glug glug glug. The sound came from right beside us, but no one was touching it. The pace of the dispensing was off. Too fast to be someone filling a cup. The noise repeated several times, like something was playing with it on purpose. Jenna squeezed my arm. I kept my eyes straight ahead. If I looked at the dispenser, I knew it would make this moment worse. We reached the back door. I tried the knob. It turned fully. The door opened without resistance. We stepped out onto the small back deck. The outside air felt different, lighter, easier to breathe. The neighbor's porch light cast a warm glow over our small yard. A car passed on a nearby street. Everything outside looked simple and normal. I turned around and looked back into our dark kitchen. Without any warning, the kitchen lights came on. Bright, steady. The house interior lit up as if there had never been a problem. The water dispenser went quiet. From out here, everything looked normal. A lit kitchen, a regular hallway, a regular home. Lily tugged at Jenna's arm and whispered, "She is angry. She says if we go now, she will come too." Those words hit me in a very direct way. Up until that moment, I always thought of the house as something that wanted us trapped inside it. But the way Lily said, "She will come too," made me imagine something else. If we left in that moment, exhausted and off balance, maybe it would not stay behind. Maybe it would attach to us. We stepped back inside. It was not a calm decision. It was fear from every direction. I closed and locked the back door. We told the kids we would leave in the morning. It was a compromise made under pressure, and I still question it. The next morning, I called my workplace and said I could not come in. I did not give a long reason. I needed the whole day to get us out. We used every hour of daylight to pack as much as we could. We focused on essential clothes, documents, and personal items. We filled the car. We organized what we could not take immediately. The house stayed quiet. No flickers, no outages, no sounds of the dispenser. It felt like it was watching us silently. Around midday, the realtor called and said she had reached an understanding with the landlord. We could leave with 1 extra month's rent as penalty. Jenna started crying from relief. Not loud, just steady tears. By late afternoon, the car was full. The kids were ready. They held small bags with their favorite things. Before we walked out, I did one last walkthrough of the house. I do not know why. Maybe habit. Maybe an urge to see every space one more time. I went to the basement last. The family room down there looked bare with some boxes removed. The storage room door was closed, like always. The doorknob felt cold under my hand. I opened the door and turned on the overhead bulb with the pull string. I scanned the familiar boxes. Some were still there, some we had taken. The concrete floor looked the same. Then I looked at the far wall. At about the height of a small child's reach, words were scratched into the painted concrete. 4 words. "Don't leave me here." The letters were irregular. Some lines were deep, some were faint, as if the hand had pressed with desperate effort and then with weak effort. I stared at the message for several seconds. I tried to think of a rational explanation. I could not. No one in our family wrote that. We had not left anything sharp in here. The message was not long, but it was extremely clear. At that moment, the theme of the entire experience settled in my mind in a heavy way. It did not want us dead. It wanted to consume us. It wanted our fear and our stress. It did not want us to leave it behind. I backed out of the storage room. I turned off the light. I closed the door carefully. I did not tell Jenna or the kids about the writing. There was no benefit in telling them at that moment. We left the house in daylight. We locked the door and put the keys in an envelope for the realtor. As we drove away down the Hawthorne Ridge Street, I looked in the rearview mirror. The house stood there. Gray siding, white trim, same front window. For a brief second, I saw a small, pale face looking from the small basement window. Dark eyes, wide smile. I blinked. The glass showed only reflected sky. We moved into a small apartment closer to my new job. The building was newer. The walls were thinner. I could hear neighbors walking and talking. I heard traffic outside and doors opening and closing. I appreciated every sound. We bought a new refrigerator. We got rid of the old one from Hawthorne Ridge. We did not bring the water dispenser. We gave away or threw out several dishes from the house. A few that we kept had faint scratches that almost resembled small marks or half-formed letters. The kids adjusted gradually. Noah liked the brighter hallway in the new place. Lily stopped talking about the girl from the wall as often. They slept better, mostly. Sometimes in the middle of the night, Lily would wake and ask, "Do you think she found another house?" Noah argued with her and said it was just dreams, but he still slept with his door slightly open. I tried to move on. I went to work. I avoided thinking about the house, but certain things kept happening. Once in a while, late at night when the apartment was quiet, I would stand in the kitchen for a drink of water. Out of nowhere, I would hear a small, sharp click from behind me. The sound was the same as the water dispenser lever. No glug glug afterward, just a single click. There was no dispenser in this apartment. There was no reason for that sound. Some evenings, the kitchen light would blink once. Only once. Not a full flicker, just a momentary pulse. It never repeated enough for me to call it a building issue. Sometimes, when the light was off and I saw my reflection in the dark microwave door, I had the brief impression that another smaller shape was standing just behind me. A child-sized outline, head tilted slightly. When I turned, there was nothing there. I think often about that house in Hawthorne Ridge near Salem, Massachusetts. The house that only went dark for us while every other home stayed bright. The house where dishes aged in days. The house where a child ran into a concrete wall and vanished. I think about the girl Lily described. I think about the scratches on the wall in the storage room that said, "Don't leave me here." I do not believe it wanted to kill us. Death would have been too fast, too final. It wanted to consume us slowly. It wanted to wear down our minds. It wanted to make our everyday life into a long, constant punishment. It wanted to make our lives hell. It did not want us to leave. We managed to walk out of that house in daylight. Our bodies left. I am not completely sure all of it stayed behind. Because sometimes, when the apartment is quiet and a light blinks, or a single click sounds in the kitchen, or my eyes catch a tilted shape in a reflection, I feel that same pressure in my chest that I felt in the storage room. I do not think it is finished with us. I think it remembers, and I think it is still looking for new ways to follow.